All right, welcome everyone, and we'll start with roll call.
Esparza, Perales,
I'm here.
Diep,
Present.
Foley,
Here.
Camus.
Here. Wonderful.
Thank you.
And now we'll go to the consent calendar. There's one item on consent, which is the Housing Community Development Commission's fiscal year 2019 through 2020 annual accomplishments report. And it, I think it's, if we can get a motion to accept the consent calendar, we can move on.
Move to accept the consent calendar.
Second.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, or do we have to have roll call, Tony?
We have to have a roll call vote, but Blair Beekman has his hand up.
Oh, okay, I didn't see Blair's hand up. Go ahead, Blair.
Hello, happy end of September. For this item, I'm really interested how it's called the general planning for 2040. You know, they're meeting, you know, twice a month, once a month about issues, and they've been having real problems getting started with how to address the future of housing. And at this time, it's been my feeling that I hope they're getting it together. And it's been my own personal feeling that, you know, before COVID came on, we were really working really interesting ways to talk about mixed income housing and very low and extremely low income housing. And it was developing a really interesting course, I felt. And then when COVID-19 came along, that obviously is going to have to, you know, we're going to have to readjust our thinking in how to talk about it. But I still feel that with, for instance, all the, recent defund issues and, the work of itself is so interesting and good that mixed income ideas for, I hope that you're not scared to return to those ideas and how they can bring together the future of our local communities. I think it's just astounding what it can accomplish, and for it to be, rejected in its old terms and its old ways, I just hope we can learn to get past that, even in this time of COVID, that I hope is only going to be for another year or two. And, I just hope we can know how to gear ourselves up to continue just really good ideas. I think we have to just be more conscious about the words very low income and extremely low income and make that part of our regular vocabulary and thinking, and have a slightly different way to think of it than call everything affordable housing. And those are important distinctions we have to learn to make. Thanks.
Okay, Tony, can we take the motion?
Esparza, Perales,
Aye.
Diep,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Aye,
Camus.
so the motion passes with the people in attendance unanimously, and we'll go on to the regular agenda item number 1, which is the verbal report from our economic development activities. And take it away, Kim.
Actually, it's Nancy Klein and Elizabeth Handler.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
So,
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Kim, very much. Thank you, Chair. And actually, I just excited about good things that are happening, even in the midst of all of the challenge that we're all facing, and to share the specifics of this month's newsletter at a glance and SJ Economy News is Elizabeth.
Thank you. So I hope my screen is shared duly. Let me know if it's not. October gives us an opportunity to update our key projects list. And this is not every possible project that is at any possible stage of development in the city of San Jose, but it's what we call the major projects. It's the ones we're tracking most carefully. And right now, the snapshot as of the beginning of October is that it's 22,984 residential units are in some stage of the process, 3.2 million square feet of retail space, 32 million square feet of commercial office space, and 2,600 hotel rooms, which is exciting. And of those, then you'll see that there are a smaller number, but that are actually under construction. Downtown is strong, as we all know. City View project approved by the council in June, and 200 Park and Miro are well underway. Miro topped off, and the glass is going up, and it looks beautiful. Several new downtown towers are now coming forward. The Dinopoly Almaden Boulevard Tower and West Banks Park Habitat Tower. And the Tech Interactive expansion and Urban Catalysts, the Mark. So it's a busy time. And our blog post has a lot more details than you can stand, probably. We're putting in under our development news a guest blog post from ESD, giving a little bit more detail on the REACH codes and why the limitation of greenhouse gases is so critically important for the city of San Jose, as well as the region, as well as the world in general. But I did not know that methane was 84 times more potent destroyer of our ozone layer than even CO2. And so that's why the gas conversion and all electric buildings are so important. So if anything you ever wanted to know about greenhouse gases in San Jose is in their blog post. Just an update on what the city as a whole has been doing for businesses during the COVID and then into recovery is our next blog post, and it lists a lot of activities. Actually, when you put them all down on paper, it turns out to have been fairly extensive, from publicizing and promoting all the possible ways in which businesses can secure funds for to help weather the crisis when they weren't able to open their doors. Several actual city initiated fund campaigns that made not only loans but grants available, webinar series, and then just a lot of communications that from a whole new website basically for all the departments, including Office of Economic Development. So again, lots more details in the blog post. One of the city-initiated funding support programs is a rent relief program that the city is sponsoring with the Opportunity Fund in order to help businesses specifically deal with the overdue or outstanding rents that they have to pay. And the deadline for those applications was September 22nd, just closed. And I think I just heard a report that there were over 700 applications received. And obviously not every one of them can be funded, but we were really pleased to have been able to at least open the door to that many businesses in town. Some happy news, even though the first photograph is a kind of a doom-inspired orange sky of the launch of Community on Post Street, the LGBTQ+ community initiative for a couple of blocks along there. It was launched a few weeks ago. And once the light turns better, you'll see how colorful it is. It's really very cool. Then we also had Hella Gardens, which was a local color initiative to bring a host of amazing local artists into downtown to do exciting floral and other kind of botanical treatments of windows and vacant storefronts. And these are temporary. They will be refreshed as needed until the rains start. And once the rains start, that's the end of them, because they're painted on the outside of the windows in water-soluble paints. So they're just there for now to make our downtown streets a lot more attractive. It's very exciting. It was a downtown association initiative with local color. Then just a recap of some of the communications that we've been doing for COVID, including posting the county's helpful graphics in multiple languages, which we're happy to be able to share, like the one here on the screen, which helped us to explain what moving into the red level in the governor's framework actually means for businesses, and continuing to provide our businesses through flash reports, blog posts, and e-blasts, email blasts to more than 40,000 businesses in town, and encourage all businesses that are not receiving those to come and sign up just through the San Jose website. And then finally, just an invitation for people to check out sanjose.org, which is Team San Jose's website, for the most comprehensive listing of online activities and meetings and fun things that people can do that are being put on by organizations and businesses all over town. Without leaving your home, you can visit museums, you can do aerobics, and you can learn how to cook and much, much more. So if the council has any questions, I'd be happy to try to respond.
Great, thank you very much for the report. And I don't see any of my colleagues' hands up. It looks like we do have a member of the audience that wants to talk about this, Blair Beekman.
Hello. If you can hear me, thank you. I'm interested how the downtown that you're covering, you're doing a lot of mural painting. It's really pretty and interesting. And, I there's a certain barrenness of downtown at this time that, I hope the art can really fulfill ourselves and offer warmth and happiness. And I heard there's some crime issues. It's the efforts of how people work on art murals in downtown San Jose, I think has a really unique, interesting ideas. And I hope that can be respected by our community, and we can learn to take care of ourselves from those efforts of the mural painting at this time. I had another comment about an item that you were talking about I'm a bit upset, just to quickly mention, about Assembly Bill 3088 that passed at the state level. That
this is only on the economic report that was,
yes, I was
not
going to
open forum.
I know, I was going to bring it around to that. I'm a bit upset that it doesn't have a better place for commercial rent business ideas. And I hope we can, good luck in the efforts how to build that bridge to make it easy for commercial businesses to get support from bills like AB 3088 is what I was going to say. And to conclude, I'm sorry, in my previous item, I should have better connected that in all my feelings about low-income, extremely low-income housing issues at this time, I hope we can bridge that to the commission work, the Housing Commission work, and maybe that can be included in their studies this upcoming year. Thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Perales, looks like he has his hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say thank you to staff for continuing to kind of cover some of the good work that's going on out there. The murals have been tremendous to see. And although it was gloomy for the Post Street activation of community, it looks tremendous now. And in fact, because we have closed down Post Street as our second closure of al fresco, and 55 South took it upon themselves to build a ship, and it looks really awesome. And the lighting and everything. In fact, I think I was a little depressed, and so were others, that our trees had needed to be taken down because they were diseased. But it's actually really illuminated the street. It's allowed for it to just be open, and it's just a great you know, a great way to see down post and all the lighting. And so it's just really exciting. I'm glad you were able to cover that. And then Nirvana Soul just opened this past weekend, and it had a line literally, you know, around the corner, and our first Black-owned, female Black-owned coffee shop in downtown San Jose, and just really excited that they had a great weekend. Thanks. That's it.
All right, thank you. I will, you know, I'll echo the thanks for the update. You know, since I've been in office, every other week we've had, you know, building discussions on building permits or what have you on Tuesdays. And it seems like the last 3 or 4 months, we haven't had any discussions on anything, you know, coming. Are we experiencing a big lull in our building and, you know, building permitting system for new projects? Because like I said, we haven't had any, well, even though our meetings go, seems like 15, 16 hours, we haven't really much property issues to discuss of late, except for a car wash. And, you know, is there anything we should be looking at with respect to new permits being filed?
Jared is here from planning. You want to comment, Jared? We've got things upcoming for sure, Councilmember.
I can't hear Jared.
Hi there, sorry. Hi, Jared Hart with Planning, Building, and Code Enforcement. Councilmember, do you mind repeating the question on that?
So basically, you know, like every other Tuesday, we have an evening meeting scheduled for, you know, property issues that come up, you know, planning, zoning, permitting, things like that at City Council. Is it that the rules have changed and it's easier to get permits, or, you know, I haven't seen many of these evening meetings at all for the last, you know, 3 or 4 months, with the exception of one there was one meeting that we had a couple projects, and, you know, one of them was a car wash, but anything to worry about? Are permits dropping? Are people not building? I'm not sure how to take the lack of evening sessions. Not that I want to work any more than 16 hours a day, but.
Right. Good question. Yeah, I think, you know, yeah, to some degree there has been, you know, somewhat of a slowing, I think, on the intake of permits. And then I believe in terms of the agenda, there has been sometimes where there has been some of the land use items have been taken during the day, just based on some changes in structure of the council meetings given COVID. But yeah, your observation is correct that there has been, you know, things have slowed somewhat given the current economic situation. But we expect to continue to schedule those evening meetings and do expect that there will be projects moving forward for entitlement.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, 'cause that worries me. It used to be like we had 4, 5, 6 items like on most evenings, and now we have next to nothing. Anyway, well, thank you. I'll ask my colleagues. It looks like Councilmember Esparza has joined us. Can I get a motion to accept the report from my colleagues?
I'll make a motion, but I just had a comment, Johnny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see your hand up. I guess you're gonna have to yell at me or something.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
You know, I'm on my iPhone. I don't have any power at my house right now.
Ooh, okay.
Just in regards to the not seeing any permits coming through, we actually are seeing one tomorrow that is an appeal of a memory care and assisted living facility in District 9 that's coming up for appeal tomorrow night. So you're going to see one tomorrow. And besides
Okay.
that, I have nothing else to say about that. discuss that tomorrow, but I think I moved approval. If not, I will now.
Second.
Wonderful. Okay, I don't see any more hands up unless somebody's having trouble. I'll ask for Tony to take a roll call vote.
It looks like Maya's still not on, right? She's off today. No, she's there.
No, she's here.
Yeah, I just seconded the motion.
Okay. So Esparza? Yes?
Yes.
Perales?
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
Foley?
Aye.
Camus?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, on to item number 2, which is Team San Jose's annual report and activities and semi-annual performance measure updates. So thank you all, Team San Jose, for joining us, and special thanks to Laura for joining us here today as well.
And I was just going to kick us off, Councilmember Chair.
Please
It's
do.
just a reminder that this report happens regularly, and that Team San Jose comes to you with semi-annual updates on the performance of Team San Jose. And Team San Jose also includes a variety of additional indicators like sales and marketing activities. And of course, this particular report will also be sharing thoughts about COVID impacts. And with that, I'll turn the conversation over to John and Ben.
Okay. Good afternoon, Council. Ben Roschke, Vice President of Research and Strategic Development with Team San Jose. And just real quick, as Nancy mentioned, we're going to cover the performance results from our measures for fiscal year 1920. These are unaudited results. We also present what we call the dashboard metrics, which are some other key indicators of our performance and the overall tourism economy within San Jose. And we'll review the preliminary 2021 performance goals that we have set with the city. We're going to take a quick look at hotel performance and the effect COVID has had on that, specifically on room revenue as it relates to TOT generation. And then Matthew Martinucci, our VP of Sales and Services, will review our strategy and tactics for this fiscal year, specifically within the environment of COVID. And then Laura will review performance from a marketing and PR standpoint for last fiscal year, as well as strategies and tactics we've undertaken with COVID and the wildfires, as well as for this upcoming fiscal year. And then finally, John LaFortune will cover some operational adjustments we've made under COVID. So for fiscal year 1920, our year-end results, as you can imagine, were incredibly impacted. Essentially, by early March, we had ceased all events within the theaters and within the convention center, and right at the start of the busiest time for conventions within the city. As a result, we missed out on all of the performance metrics annual goals, with the exception of the customer satisfaction goal. As those clients that came through, we serviced and were able to maintain our very high levels of service. Just as a snapshot for comparison, we did look sort of at where we were standing pre-COVID. So as of year-to-date month end for February, we were above all performance metrics up to that point in the fiscal year, with the exception of the future room night sales. If you'll recall, last fall when we presented, we were undergoing, with Matthew taking over the sales department, a complete redeployment of our sales team and rejiggering that caused us to get off to a bit of a slow start last fiscal year, but we were gaining rapidly on that deficit and were anticipating, prior to COVID, closing that gap by the end of the fiscal year. With regards to our dashboard metrics, you can just see quickly that there was a devastating impact that COVID had on the end of the year. Our direct spending, which is the money that visitors pump into the San Jose economy outside of our facilities, down nearly 50% year over year fiscal. Local taxes generated by attendees to the convention center down 55% year over year. And we'll get into the hotels a little bit more, but obviously a huge fall off in hotel performance year over year with the stop that happened as everything sort of froze come March. One other place we look at is sort of indicators towards future business in the convention center via the sales dashboard. So we look at our future citywides booked, and that by definition is groups with 500 room nights on peak, which means we have at least 500 room nights being consumed on the busiest night of the convention. And we look at those by a segmentation of high tech, which is both corporate and association business. So that's either a high tech company like one of our Silicon Valley companies, or an association that specifically caters to the tech segment. And then we have others, non-high tech association, non-high tech corporate. And then we have what we call the Smurf and Sports, which basically are weekend groups that are based around affinity. So sports could be anything from the professional big attractions we've had the last couple of years, like Super Bowl or NHL All-Star, down to youth leagues. And then Smurfs are your Comic-Cons, Fanime, those types of events. With COVID and all of the uncertainty around the future of meetings, we saw a sizable slowdown in sales once this hit. You know, everybody is in sort of a wait and see pattern, it seems, and are not as willing to commit. The groups that we are seeing commit are the association. They tend to have to meet regardless of the economic conditions, but they tend to book further out. So in the short term, we're not seeing a lot of movement necessarily. Longer term, further out, there are associations, and specifically associations within the tech sector, that are willing to commit to future years. But with so much uncertainty around when meetings will be open again and when it will be safe to congregate again in large numbers, we are seeing some hesitancy around those long-term or short-term commitments. So for this fiscal year, we went through this exercise around the time of submitting the budget in spring. These were sort of our performance assumptions based on that time. So the performance metrics were really built around the assumption that we would start to see business coming back in the end of Q2 of this fiscal year. Obviously, as things change, we're most likely thinking that it will be later that we start to see a return to business. And this may be something that we need to revisit as we look forward for our performance metrics coming down the road for this fiscal year. But with the essential freezing of everything within our facilities through the first 6 months and probably longer, we are anticipating to see significant impact. Nearly over 2/3 reduction in estimated visitor spending based on our goal for last year. A reduction in our future room nights that we'll be able to book into the city, and then shy of 50% of gross operating revenues and a significant drop in the gross operating results for the facilities based off of the forecast we had around this back in May. So with hotel performance, this is something that we've been tracking very closely because it's such a key component for the health of not just Team San Jose, but also for the city with the taxes that come through on the transient occupancy tax. We contracted with Tourism Economics to analyze the effect of COVID-19 on both visitor spend and hotel performance, and specifically the room revenue generated forecasts. We shared the output of this research with the budget office, and they helped to derive the room revenue forecasts that were utilized in the creation of fiscal year 2021's TOT forecast and budget for both that utilized by Team San Jose, the Office of Cultural Affairs, as well as paying into the general fund. We're continuing to partner with the budget office in monitoring the room performance across fiscal 2021 and the TOT receipts to ensure we have adherence to our forecasted budgets. As I mentioned, that research was utilized only in creation of the fiscal year 2021 budget. However, we started benchmarking at the end of fiscal year 1920 to get an idea of how the actual room revenue receipts we were receiving were tracking to the forecast provided by Tourism Economics. And the good news is that after an initial, underperformance in April 20, by the time we got to this fiscal year in July and August, with the preliminary receipts we've been receiving, it is tracking much closer to forecast. So we're hopeful that those trends continue, but we'll be keeping an eye on them. So I'm going to turn it over to Matthew Martinucci to discuss our fiscal year 2021 sales strategy and tactics.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's good to be with you today. So obviously, COVID has made us take a look at the entirety of how we do business. And in fact, it's fair to say that with some of these strategies that we were implementing them before COVID. I'll walk through this slide. I know I'll do it quickly, but please feel free to ask any questions. One of the things that became clear to us, in fact, before COVID, is that we wanted to diversify the market segmentation of our groups. And what we mean by that is that we had become really too one-dimensional in the base of business that we were laying for the city. And so we've put much more of a priority on looking at 7 days a week as our goal for the properties, because we all know that San Jose was really busy in the midweek period, but was, had a lot more availability on the weekends. So we have redeployed, and we're really trying as best as we can to focus more on the groups that will put business on Thursday through Sunday night, and then less group rooms in the middle of the week. We definitely have a two-tiered approach right now, and between now and at least the end of 2021, it really is about survival. And so I think the goalposts have been moving on this, that several months ago when we first went into shelter in place, none of us would have dreamed that it would be the end of September and we'd be looking at the situation the way it is today. So we are doing everything we possibly can to flex on our terms, our costs, offering bigger discounts where we can to try to secure business until at least the end of 2021, where we think that that's really 22 in the beginning is probably where we'll see what we think of as being somewhat getting close to normal. During this time, we're also spending a lot of time building and maintaining strong customer relationships. We have been very lucky that many of the groups that were on the books and had paid deposits were kind enough to let us retain those deposits, which has helped us tremendously from a cash flow perspective. And we're also just making every deal that we can moving forward, dealing in good faith. We realize we don't want people to take advantage of us, but we also don't want to take advantage of them when times get good. So we're looking at everything with a long-term vision. We were very excited to earn the GBAC Gold Star certification for the convention center and the theaters. And so we have briefed our team on how to position that to the customer so that they understand the significance of that. And we are looking for as many opportunities as we can to just leverage that and give confidence to our customers that when they can come back to San Jose, that we are a safe destination for them. Developing one of the few things that you can do with empty buildings that we've had is to photograph them. And so we were able to get approval for the funding through our HBID board, and we have completed a complete 360-degree photographic tour of the convention center and the theaters. And we are still working on the post-production work of those photos, but this will be a fantastic way to show the assets that we manage. Even in times like this, they'll get a really accurate view of what the buildings look like and their capacities. Also, we have a very limited budget for this fiscal year, but we made sure, together with the appropriate people, that we prioritized having resources so that as soon as it is possible for us to engage customers directly, whether it's traveling to trade shows or just being able to host smaller customer events, as soon as it's safe to do that, we have put appropriate resources so that we'll come out of the gates very quickly. And then one of the biggest, this will have a long-term effect on our market, but really maximizing the convention center space through pattern management, really looking at it more like a Tetris game, where we want to be as frugal as we can with the allocation of space while we still give the groups what they need. But we definitely need to have more events than we have had in recent years. And I'll give you one quick example to illustrate that since 2016, our room nights in the city, total room nights, have gone down by 25%. And meanwhile, the occupancy at the convention center has gone up. And that has to do with how we've been allocating the space. And so we're working very actively and very smartly to reverse those trends. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am going to jump in. For the record, Laura Shimolewski, Vice President, Marketing and Communications, and I'm going to start by talking about marketing performance for last year. So as always, we drive hotel room nights through bleisure and leisure audiences. We drive them through meeting planners. And for the first time last year, we did something. We identified a local software provider who allowed us to identify hotel need periods through they bought data from many of the OTAs, and we were able to predict, match them with hotels, and do what was essentially a co-op at no cost to the hotel to drive business during that need period. So that was a new strategy for last year. Next slide, please. And with not even ending everything in March, so a full quarter, over a quarter missing, we delivered 70.5 million impressions. We were shooting for more like 98, but this added incrementally to hotels 4.48 million and 23,000 room nights, returning $6.60 for every dollar we spent in media. So that was really good. Next slide, please. On our owned media, we segmented our database. So we, for the first time, split our database and specifically targeted meeting planners and our consumers. Most of our consumers, you should know, are from the area. So this is going to come to play when we talk about COVID in a moment. Next slide, please. On our website, are we missing a few slides? Okay, sorry, I'm a little thrown off. I thought we had a few more slides. We created dedicated landing pages for the first time, and this really served us well. For theater months, website traffic was up 167%, Restaurant Week was up 33%, and when we started our San Jose Love campaign, this was only through the last fiscal year, it was up 15%. Next slide, please. I'm missing social media. I'm just going to keep going, but I'm going to throw this in here. Social media overall, we were up 400% last year, year over year. We are thrilled to continue to sell San Jose merchandise. And for the first time in fiscal year 1920, We partnered with both Ryan Sebastian of Movable Feast and Phil Maresca of Philco to start selling street vendor locations. Actually, when COVID hit and CineQuest was shut down, we were selling our merchandise on the street in front of the venues. Next slide, please. Okay, I guess we're going to public relations. So the PR strategy, and this is to, of course, what we do with PR is we host one-on-one media appointments. We host press trips. We engage with influencers, including local Google guides, and we become a real resource for journalists from all over the world, certainly all over the country. Next slide, please. Thank you. And so last year we were fortunate and secured 123 placements, totaling over $8 billion, $8.8 billion in unique visitors to publisher sites. Had we bought these ads in all of these spaces digitally, it would have cost $1.2 million. And I have to say this was due in part to the great work by the great Francis Wong. Next slide, please. Okay, so when in March we had to stop all our paid media, redeploy that money, we made a strategic choice to put what was left in our staff, we lost most of our staff too, and our limited funds into keeping our owned media channels open and alive for our community. Next slide, please. Because it wasn't responsible to invite people to travel when we were in the middle of a SIP, of course, we started talking about things you could do. And thank you to Elizabeth Handler for pointing out sanjose.org. We launched a special website all about San Jose Love, all about things you can do in San Jose virtually from your home. We participated in SOPA Saturdays. We turned our assets, our owned media channel assets, over to local artists and creators. We pivoted every way we could. In that, we kept our channels open, social media, email, and web, as well as PR just out there pitching. We reached 1.7 million people through our social and owned channels, and through PR, 92 million people, all talking about San Jose Love. Next slide, please. Then the wildfires hit, and it was actually some our local hotel partners who had the idea to come up with San Jose Cares. John LaFortune and I put together an initiative, a website with the mayor's office in Silicon Valley Strong, and we reached out to all our hotel partners, Matthew Martinucci, and we got together offering great rates for anybody displaced. We started talking about this in the media, and the media really listened. We got picked up by USA Today, and our PR reached just around our efforts, our town's efforts, and our organization's efforts around the wildfire were 341 million. Next slide, please. Okay, so moving forward, what do? We just heard from Matthew and from Ben that it doesn't look so good for filling our buildings safely in the next 6 months or so. Next slide, please. But what we can do now is invite people to stay in our hotels. So our first option will be to pivot to all leisure. We will, of course, have to identify funding through our finance committee and through our board, hopefully out of reserves. If they do decide this is a great way to spend our money, we will begin to invite people downtown again through staycations and workcations. We'll talk to people around the Bay Area to actually explore al fresco dining in San Jose, mix it up, still be safe. We'll engage all of our hotel, restaurant, and attractions partners. And these projected results you see at the bottom are based on what we delivered last year, using the same metrics, using the same real-time bidding numbers and targeted media that we did, but we can hope to get a return on ad spend of 38 to 1 and hopefully generate millions of dollars in revenue for TOT. Option number 2, please. When, of course, it is safe to do so. And right now we are using a data-driven approach to look at when that timing is. We are looking at macro and at micro things like sentiment to travel, numbers of bookings, booking window sizes. But when it's a good time to start talking about meetings again and meeting planners again, we can split those resources, still send ads to our leisure market, but also our meetings market. And that's it from marketing. Next slide, please. And now John LaFortune. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is John LaFortune, COO of Team San Jose. And with our, as you saw, our business pretty much fell off a cliff and our buildings are closed. We, amongst other people, have pivoted towards the community and everything we can do towards the community. Slide, please. And just a few things that we've done here. Let me, hold on. We did have, we converted Parkside and South Hall into temporary shelters for the homeless during COVID in conjunction with the city there. Parkside operated with 75 beds and was shut down in mid-August to allow work to commence on the park habitat project. They're doing utility work in there now. So we did need to close that down, and that's formerly the Museum Place project over by the Civic. South Hall still operates, and it's cleared to operate through January 2021 with a capacity of 230 beds. Next slide. And our meal service here, TSJ prepared and delivered food shelters for our current shelters and also the 12 other cities and county locations. We provide up to 17,000 to 21,000 meals per week. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Since we started this project in April, we've done a total of 385,000 meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And this, real importantly, it's put people to work. It's allowed 25 union team members to return to work with varying hours. And this contract is on a month-to-month basis right now with the city. And we're hoping to keep it through December until there is a bid going out, and we will bid on that and hopefully keep that business. And that kind of concludes our presentation today.
Thank you all for your presentation. I wish there were better times, and you know, I'm used to having you guys way outperform your numbers, and this is it's sad. This is the first time I've ever seen in 7.5 years. First time I've ever seen numbers lower than expectations. But I appreciate all the work that you guys have done. Let me go to public comment, and it looks like I have 2 hands up. With a hand up with the phone number 4. Go ahead. We're listening.
Yeah. Why would you give my whole phone number? You're not supposed to do that.
Well, I apologize. I just didn't have a name, and this is the first time I've done this.
I'll tell you what. I want you. You better erase it when you guys go to post it on YouTube. If I get a bunch of people calling me, what's going to happen to you? I'm going to be calling you when they call me. Every phone call I get, you're going to get 100. So you better erase it right now.
Go ahead and speak, please. This is your time to speak.
Is this Chappie Jones?
No, this is Councilmember Johnny Camus, and you're here speaking on this item.
Camus, you don't ever do that again. Don't you see? You guys can't even run a city council meeting, let alone build something new. You guys want to build more hotels and get tourism for what? An empty downtown? You guys couldn't run a skunk screw. You know that? This town is disgraceful. And you guys can't, I can't believe what you people do. 200 parks that are in disrepair. You guys, the people work hard here to do it, but you guys don't give them the support or the funding. And all these, what, you want to build these new villages and everything? It ain't going to work. You guys can't even run San Jose. Look at your downtown. Every one of you there should be ashamed of yourself. Every single one. That downtown looks like there was COVID going on before COVID. So, I mean, you know, Camus, I usually like you, but now I don't.
Okay, well, this is my first time calling on people. The next person is Blair Beekman, and this is just on Team San Jose's report. Blair?
Yeah, hi, thank you. I'll try to do that. To comment, sorry for the accident on the last with the last person. I know that accident occasionally happens. Maybe there's a way that that person can write an email to the city clerk, and she can connect the person with the Civic Center TV, and they're the ones to talk to about, you know, if he wants to edit out his phone number. I don't know if they can or not, but at least that would be a possibility. To speak on, you know, this was like a really grim report, as you just stated, and you may not like it, but, you know, I'm learning the idea that, you know, it's my personal feeling that, you know, by next summer and possibly by 2022, you know, we'll be in a better shape. And I'm learning that that's kind of the general goal at this time. And I hope that this fall, you know, we can work on a vaccination process. And I just wanted to make that clear at this time. And we don't have to put it off until 2021. I hope we can work on a vaccination process by late this fall. Thank you.
Okay. It looks like there's one more hand, and for the last person. Go
That
ahead.
speaker already spoke.
Okay, and we are removing his contact information. Thank you, Tony, for your work on that. I will only call the first three numbers from now on. I'll go back to a council discussion, and we have Pam Foley.
Johnny, you're doing a good job. Calling on people is a difficult task, and you're doing the best you can, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to thank you for your efforts. And thank you, Team San Jose, for your presentation. Although I'm not surprised by the numbers, of course, to see them is very disappointing. But it's not your fault, so you know we move on. I do have a question for you. Was Team San Jose eligible to apply for a PPP loan, and if so, did you, and did you get it? Hello?
I'll go ahead and take this unless John, you want to jump in, but we were not eligible for PPP loans as a 501c6, so we were not able to apply under those circumstances for one of those loans.
Okay, I wondered about that. Also, you referenced the GBAC Gold Star certificate. I don't recognize those initials, so can you tell me what that means?
Yes, Pam, this is Matthew. I'm happy to take that one. The GBAC, the initials stand for Global Biorisk Advisory Council. And what it really is essentially the gold standard for our industry right now, as facilities try to earn a third-party endorsement for being safe. And that means also setting up different protocols for how we maintain the building, front of the house and back of the house, food handling, all sorts of systems that we put into place to minimize the potential spread of any disease, particularly of this one, of course, is driven by COVID. So it was a lengthy 100-page application that we filled out. We were very pleased to be the first convention center in the Bay Area and only the second one on the West Coast. And our theaters are the first on the West Coast to earn the certification. It doesn't come anywhere close. The reality is it doesn't come close to the value that a vaccine would bring, but it does let us at least earn a standard of recognition for something that we can control, so that as soon as it is legal to host a meeting, we'll have that credibility behind us.
Great. So this is a certification that was available pre-COVID. It's not COVID driven. It's pre-COVID.
Well, this is something that only came into anyone's household name as COVID developed. So it is something that most of us, if we were to ask 9 months ago, nobody, I don't want to say nobody, I would tell you that it was not getting the focus and the attention that it's getting now.
Wonderful. I think that's thank you for that explanation. I appreciate that. And I think having that gold star certification is really important right now as businesses maybe consider coming back for conventions and such. I really appreciate understanding a little bit more about that.
Right.
I don't know how you get a handle on these numbers for next year or not. I hope you're right and able to be bringing back business, but it's a lot of guesswork because we don't know where we're going to be from a social distancing standpoint and whether people will want to come back to events. I mean, you watch. I'm a big football fan, so I've been watching the NFL, and there's nobody in the stands, and they're in the Major League Baseball, same thing, and they're actually shutting it down when players have been tested with COVID. So I think there's so much guesswork involved in the numbers, but we are all in this together, and I look forward to conventions coming back, but more importantly, I look forward to the performance activity come back because all of our performers are not benefiting by being able to share their craft and really earn an income by their theater performance. I know that's a substantial amount of work that you do, sir, and other performance back. So thank you for the report. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, Councilmember Perales is next.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I want to just say thanks to the Team San Jose staff for your flexibility during this whole pandemic, and it's been a real plus to our community to be able to have that space at the South Hall for our unhoused population. And I think it was a great way to at least get some of your staff working again, right, and serving community members. Unfortunately, right, as they know, a lot of the individuals you have working there, and they're serving a lot of their former coworkers, and so it's just been a challenge, but appreciated. And I would agree with Councilmember Foley. I think I was real skeptical when we approved our budget, just with some of the outlook on potentially getting convention center space activated again. I'm still extremely skeptical and not necessarily thinking that the year to come is going to be any better. And so I think that we just need to make sure that we are keeping a much closer eye on a regular basis, as I know you are, but I think it wouldn't be a bad idea. I would be interested in what is traditionally doesn't happen. I know that we do this, I think, a semi-annual, but if my colleagues are interested, I'd like to ask Team San Jose to come back maybe in another 3 months and try to just give us an update. I'd like to see what things are looking like at that point. So I'll move to accept the report and then just ask if we can come back with a non-traditional update in 3 months.
Second.
Wonderful. And thank you, Councilmember Perales. That's probably a very good idea. I wish I'll be around to see that report, but I don't think I will be. But I did have a couple questions in regards to the beds that are being available in South Hall. You said that there was 250 beds. Is that what you said? And how many of those beds are actually being used?
There's a total of 230, and actually on any given night, it ranges from about 160 to 180. So we're not full to capacity, but there's still a pretty good amount.
Okay, and I'm not. And how do people know that those beds are available? And maybe this is not something that you do as far as marketing, and maybe it's our housing staff. it seems a shame to have, 70 beds of 70 and not being used because I still see so many homeless people out there.
Remember, it's Nancy Klein.
Yeah.
OED was working closely with John and with Reagan Henniger from the Housing Department. And there is a specific protocol. Those beds are primarily for elderly individuals who are at high risk of COVID. And so there is a sensitivity to who is in the facility at any given time. That's why there are at some points, or as John just said, empty beds along the way.
Okay. All right. My next question is, well, actually, first and foremost, I really want to thank all those hospitality of the hotel chains that offered their facilities for the people who've been displaced from fires. And thank you so much for getting that working. Do you know how successful that program was? How many people were housed and are still being housed because of the fires? Do you have any idea of how many people were helped?
Matthew, do you want to take that, or you want me to?
Sure, John. So we have, we track it each month, and the number that we were given by the hotels for the month of August was a little bit over 1,800 room nights for individuals. So that's real, we were very pleased. Of course, it's a double-edged sword because it means there's a lot of need. But we were happy to see that people were able to find out about the program and use it. And then we did work with the American Red Cross on a it took about an hour to make this happen, but they brought in 145 volunteers, and we were able to secure that block at one hotel. And the remnants of that group actually are checking out today, the last 40 people. But that group at one of our hotels consumed more than 3,000 room nights.
That's amazing, and thank you for doing that. That deserves a story all in itself, Laura. That's just phenomenal work. Thank you.
Thank you.
It looks like we have another council member who wants to speak, and why don't we go with Kim first, and then we're going to go to Landip after.
Thanks. I just wanted to follow up on Councilmember Perales' suggestion, which I think is a good one, that we schedule time for maybe a verbal report on activities and performance measures. Councilmember, you suggested 3 months. So 3 months, end of December, we don't have a meeting. The next one after that would be January 25th. So I just want to confirm if that would be the appropriate time for our next check-in. The alternative date would be November 23rd.
Councilmember Perales, go ahead and unmute yourself. And I'm fine with November, and although it may be a little too quick, close to this meeting. So, Councilmember Perales, do you have a preference?
I think that might be a little quick. I don't know how much, more info we'll get. I would prefer something, a few months
Maybe the
out.
January that Kim suggested.
We'll go with the January meeting then.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the clarification. And Councilmember Diep, you're next.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I had a question for Laura in terms of the shifting more towards staycations and getting people towards, I think you called it, was it not services, but leisure? Was that the direction? So I know that people stopped flying for a while, and I think the numbers from the federal numbers from the TSA, it is slowly ticking up. Labor Day saw a big uptick. There's still some, I guess rightfully, some anxiety around flying and staying in hotels. What and how are we changing our hotel methods in terms of like the cleaning and the scrubbing down and the sheets and the door fixtures and everything, and how are we promoting that to kind of assure potential hotel stayers that that they're going to be safe? I think that, I forget which chain it was, but I think it was either Hilton or Marriott. They have like a whole new certification program or something now in terms of like cleaning hotel rooms. Are we doing anything similar in San Jose?
I can't speak to the individual hotels. Thank you so much for the question. But I could find out and get back to the committee. I'd be happy to do that. It's interesting as we learn every day that COVID behaves a little differently. It appears that hotels and segmented rooms are much safer than one big room. So our hotel, we've been looking at the macro issues we've been looking at to gauge when we actually start talking about visitation again, include federal policies, state regulations, certainly our county regulations, but we're also looking at listening socially. Are people feeling, is traveler sentiment getting high enough to start talking about visitation without people saying, don't invite anybody here, right? We're looking at survey data, future forecasting in media, competitor monitoring. And Visit California just started Visit California in California campaign this week. This is the first week that our research told us, our data said, yes, start talking about it. So as far as the content around hotels, while I don't know each hotel's cleaning habits, I do know that data is showing us it's time to start talking about get out of your house, stay in a hotel, stay safe, dine in this hotel. We can affect revenue in hotels by encouraging this type of visitation, and hopefully, to your really great point about consumer confidence, little by little, we can get people used to being safe outside of their homes, which really has to happen. So that's what this campaign will start doing, hopefully.
Sure.
I hope that helps. I'm happy to.
Yeah, I certainly hope the money, the TOT tax increases, and I know that our Office of Cultural Affairs is taking a hit because of it too, and they're dependent on the TOT. I guess my suggestion would just be to, if anything, encourage our hotel partners to, agree to some sort of standard, and in the promotional material, let travelers, potential travelers, or staycation folks know that it's not business as usual. There is a more attention paid to the changing of the sheets or the wiping down of everything. Even before COVID, I think one of the anecdotes of wary travelers is always the remote control is the dirtiest thing in any hotel room, right? So if we're making an effort to know, like, every time somebody swaps out the room, like, there's going to be somebody with a whatever, a wet wipe or an alcoholic thing, rubbing alcohol that will go through and clean even the remote control, every fixture, every handle, everything in the thing. You're not getting the remnant COVID of whoever was there the night before. I think that would go a long way. So.
And Councilmember, I'd love to tell you about, as a direct result of D3's downtown recovery efforts and task force, there's been a subcommittee group, and mostly made up of small business owners and cultural leaders, and addressing not only the issues of cleanliness, because the county does that, right? You get the check mark if you submit your plan and it's accepted, but even teaching people how to deal with each other, to talk about issues of communication around moving safely around other people again, how to act as an urban visitor in this very strange time. So I think you're right on two fronts, and on the fact that we need to train people how to behave again. And there is a group of communicators working throughout the city to do that, I'm happy to say.
Great. All right, thanks, Laura. Thank you, Chair.
And thank you guys for the report. I actually just saw a demonstration of a robot that goes in and cleans, disinfects rooms. I know the owner now, and be happy to introduce you guys to him. To high tech meets disinfecting. So anyway, I will ask Tony to take roll call for the vote.
Esparza,
Yes.
Perales,
Aye.
Diep,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Camus.
Aye.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you all for the report, and good luck with your efforts to on the recovery. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're off to our the third item of this afternoon, and it's the verbal report on urban villages plan implementation. So.
Thank you, Chair. Should I share screen on my end, or does that or will it be shared?
Yes, please share your screen. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Maybe one. All right. Well, thank you, Chair and council members. Jared Hart, Division Manager with Planning, Building, and Code Enforcement and Citywide Planning, to provide you an update on urban village implementation and staff development. Staff's development of urban village and mixed-use zoning districts. I'm joined today by Planner Brent Cavarlo on our ordinance team, who is the project manager for this work. Deputy Director Michael Brio is also with us today, and I also want to acknowledge Supervising Planner Martina Davis from our ordinance team, who has been leading this effort. She's out sick today, is not able to join us. So to provide a little background and context, the city's Envision San Jose 2040 General Plan was adopted in 2011 as the growth framework to accommodate new jobs and housing, focusing on economic development, environmental sustainability, and creating complete communities. A fundamental component to this framework is the Urban Village Major Strategy. This strategy promotes the development of urban villages that are active, walkable, and transit-oriented mixed-use urban settings for new housing and job growth. Urban village plans will be developed for each area over the time frame of the general plan, and in total, the general plan identifies approximately 60 urban village areas that plan for approximately 64,000 housing units and 116,000 jobs. To date, the city has adopted 12 urban village plans and 2 under development, that being Berryessa BART and North First Street urban village plans. Are the slides on your end progressing okay? I got
No, they don't look like they're progressing at all, actually.
Okay, thank you. Let me see if I can solve that issue, my end.
Well, we did get a change of screen for sure.
Okay, and is the slide say urban village planning?
It does. It says
Great.
12 approved urban village plans, 2 urban village plans in the process.
Great. Okay, we'll go with this screen setting. I apologize for the technical difficulties there. Yeah, as I mentioned, we've 12 adopted plans to date. We've got 2 under development. That's Berryessa BART Urban Village and the North First Street Urban Village plans. We have 2 additional villages that have grant funding, and work is currently underway to bring consultants on board and begin the planning process, which is going to involve extensive community engagement and input, as all plans do. So the city is it's currently undergoing the second 4-year review of the general plan. The general plan task force meetings began in fall 2019, and there were a handful of items related to urban village implementation that the task force considered, including redistribution of planned growth and village boundary changes, mixed income housing in urban villages, planned growth horizons in the residential pool policy, as well as modifications to general plan policies IP 5.5 around urban village planning, and modifications to our signature project policy. So in summary, recommendations by the general plan task force included removing the Evergreen and Capital Foxdale urban villages and converting the Story Road employment growth area to a new urban village. The task force also recommended eliminating planning horizons for villages, as well as eliminating the residential pool policy. Other recommendations included amending implementation policy IP 512 to provide more flexibility in the village planning process, and updating 2 policies that allow housing ahead of adoption of an urban village plan, in both cases to make updates providing more objective project criteria. So those policies are IP 510, that's the signature project policy, and IP 512 that allows affordable housing ahead of approved urban village plans. The task force also recommended that staff consider affordable housing incentives to reduce or eliminate commercial requirements in signature projects. Okay, so now I'm going to transition over to the topic of our new urban village and mixed-use zoning districts. So to provide some background on how this work came about, The Urban Village Amenities Framework that was adopted by Council in May 2018 included creating urban village zoning districts as part of implementing the framework. Shortly thereafter, as part of his 2018-2019 budget message, Mayor Liccardo identified that the fact that the zoning ordinance did not conform to and therefore does not fully implement our general plan was hindering housing production and that a comprehensive update was needed. The state legislature had the same idea around this time and passed Senate Bill 1333, which became effective in 2019. And for the first time requires that charter cities like San Jose bring their zoning ordinance into compliance with their general plan. I'll note that San Jose, we've had a zoning ordinance since the 1920s and a general plan since the 1970s, and we've never undertaken the work to fully align the two, whether it be the text of the zoning ordinance itself or making sure our property zoning is consistent with its general plan designation. San Jose has really taken a GP or general plan first style of planning and relied on developers to apply to bring the zoning into compliance when they want to build something. That's been largely through plan development zonings when it came to residential or mixed use development. So that strategy has worked for us in the past, but it really doesn't anymore because of changing state law framework. So because the last time we've done a comprehensive update to the zoning code was about 20 years ago, we realized that this was really going to be a lot of work. Broke it down into two broad phases. Phase one involves updating the text of the zoning ordinance and creating new zoning districts to align with the general plan. The council approved the first part of phase one last summer with a comprehensive review and update of the existing zoning districts. And we're finishing off phase one of this work with the creation of the new urban village and mixed use zoning districts themselves. Concurrently, we're also working on phase two, which is I call it, kind of the match the colors on the map phase of this project to actually physically rezone properties so the zoning and the general plan designations match. The goal here is that we'll no longer have situations where we have a property with a residential general plan land use designation that allows residential, but then has an industrial zoning that's been around, since our first zoning ordinance was created back in 1929 that we've never changed. So as I mentioned, there's really been a big change in our state law framework, which has impacted our work, and that's why this work's really on the front burner. So I just want to cover a couple key recent state housing bills. In the last couple of years, the state legislature has been really busy adopting legislation to help ease the housing crisis. One of the major themes of these laws is the idea that cities use their land use controls and discretion to place barriers to housing projects. And so a lot of the housing laws are aimed at changing the way that local jurisdictions apply their land use laws to try to force what might be termed as bad actor cities, I would say, to approve housing projects where they're consistent with their general plan. So AB Assembly Bill 3194 updated the Housing Accountability Act to prevent cities from requiring that a developer apply to rezone a property where they are proposing a housing project that is consistent with the general plan, but the zoning is not consistent. We provided an update on this to the committee back in February. What this law did was to invalidate the urban village amenities framework. If you remember, their approach to implement the framework was that the city was going to adopt urban village plans to allow housing on properties in urban villages, but not update the zoning. When a developer proposed a project consistent with the urban village plan, they would need to apply to rezone the property, and council would need to approve that rezoning. A property zoned for housing, as we know, is worth a lot more than a property zone for other uses. So by allowing the zone change, council would be essentially granting an increase in property value. And for that, we were able to extract public benefits in the form of urban village amenities. Now, under AB 3194, we can no longer require that rezoning, and the city must process the application to build housing without without the rezoning. So the whole legal framework for extracting amenities has gone away. So the next law I want to cover here that has greatly impacted our work is Senate Bill 330, the Housing Crisis Act of 2019. So this is a really sweeping piece of legislation that's broadly aimed at facilitating approval of housing projects at the densities planned in cities' general plans. SB 330 involves a lot, so I'm not going to give a real comprehensive list, just the most relevant components of the bill. So first, SB 330 prevents the city from downzoning our property unless we approve an equivalent upzoning on another property at the same public hearing. In the context of this provision of the law, downzoning can mean changing the general plan land use designation or zoning on a property from something that allows housing to one that doesn't, or one that has lower density, or even adopting new or modifying development standards that would reduce residential capacity on a site, which could be new or increased open space standards, setbacks, or reduced building heights. So as you can imagine, this is making phase 2 of our work, the actual physical rezoning component, difficult because we have properties that are zoned to allow housing where the general plan doesn't. So bringing those properties into alignment is technically considered downzoning under this law. I want to note to help with this that we've sponsored state legislation, Senate Bill 940, in this last legislative session, which would amend SB 330 to allow us to move forward with upzoning first and be able to bank that for later downzonings. What this means is that we have a little bit of breathing room to not have to pair up and down zonings exactly at one public hearing. And what's important to note for the new zoning districts is the portion of the law that prohibits new development standards that result in reduced development capacity. That means that we have to be really careful as we craft these new zoning districts in those development standards to not result in a decrease of residential capacity. What I also want to note is, next that SB 330 prohibits the adoption or imposition of subjective development standards. So for housing projects, cities may only adopt or impose objective development standards. And that's basically defined as, involving no personal or subjective judgment by a public official. To give you a real example of what that means, we can't have standards that say things like development must be compatible in size with neighboring developments, because compatible in size can mean different things to different people, and there's no uniform benchmark or reference to what compatible means. To address compatibility, we need to put in objective standards that get at the same point, such as an example would be new developments can't be more than 2 stories high within 30 feet of a 1-story single family house. That's not a real standard we're proposing. It's just an example, but as you can imagine, it really changes the way we write our documents, like the zoning districts or our new citywide design guidelines. Finally, here, SB 330 requires cities to apply development standards to facilitate building residential projects to the maximum allowable density under their general plan designation. So this is getting at the idea that there are cities out there that kind of game the system by planning for higher density in their general plans and getting their housing elements certified, but then their actual development standards make it impossible to build those densities, so they can still deny residential projects. So how has our course changed since we provided an update in February? So first, back in February, let me change the slide here. So back in February, we were considering creating 5 different types of urban village districts to address each type of urban village described in the general plan. We've changed course on this, and we went back to our original plan of just creating 1 zoning district to match each general plan land use designation that doesn't currently have a truly conforming district. This change was as much from state law considerations as it was just a course of change we made as we started actually drafting the text. We realized this approach worked better, so that's what we're proposing going forward. The next change really was driven entirely by state law. With the rezoning value capture framework I described before as part of the urban village amenity framework, we have to scale back to only requiring things that have a nexus to require. So in other words, nothing above and beyond what we can show that address a specific impact the development is causing. And of course, the urban village amenities list was all things that were above and beyond what we otherwise had a nexus to require. So back in February, we thought we might be able to incorporate some of the amenities as requirements of these new zoning districts themselves. But as we kind of put pen to paper, we really realized we couldn't make any of them work given constraints and factors like Senate Bill SB 330, limitations on, those limitations on adopting standards that reduce development capacity and maximum build out at densities of the general plan. We also, extensively searched other jurisdictions to find examples, but really haven't found anything that we were able to use. So that means the new zoning districts are going to be moving forward without the amenities list. Well, that's really not happy news, I would say. We don't want this committee to walk away thinking that this isn't going to be beneficial and a successful project. There are going to be some very positive outcomes resulting from this work. First and foremost, it'll bring us into alignment with state law. And the way SB 940 is written requires these zoning districts to be adopted in order to unlock the potential to bank up zonings for later down zonings. So this phase of the work will also help us implement phase 2, where we actually go to rezone properties that are not aligned with the general plan. Additionally, we're really excited that we're going to have a new, modern, clear standards that developers, the public, and decision makers, such as yourself, can rely on to facilitate and require the kind of high quality development we want to see in San Jose. We're coordinating closely with our team working on the new citywide design standards and guidelines so that the new zoning districts and guidelines speak to each other and build off each other. We've also done an exercise with the Urban Land Institute to get preliminary look at from the outside on an early draft of our zoning districts. And I can say that we got some really positive feedback from that. So this takes me to the final slide, which is our timeline. We've completed an initial draft ordinance for the zoning districts and are currently going through an interdepartmental review. We'll be beginning outreach next month, including our standing developers roundtable, community meetings, and developer focus groups. The zoning ordinance will need to go to the Airport Land Use Commission, which we are aiming for in December. And we anticipate bringing the item to Planning Commission and City Council for consideration in early 2021. Thank you. That concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you very much. Let me start. Jared, thank you. Let me start by going to public comment. We have phone number 4373 with his hand up, his or her hand up. Commence. The phone number with 408373, go ahead. I cannot hear. I can't hear you. So,
Hello?
oh, now we can.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, hey, thanks for not having my full phone number. You guys, I mean, this is Johnny's first time doing this. I don't believe it. But as for new urban villages, I say vote no. You guys can't handle an electric grid in this town. There's not enough police or fire for proper public services. You got 200 parks that need to be taken care of. You want to bring in more people? I don't see it. You have all those towers in downtown. They're not filled. No one's moving in there. They're bought by speculators. I mean, look at that downtown. Every time you guys go to City Hall, which maybe you're not doing that right now, but take a look at how terrible that downtown is. I mean, it's embarrassing. I mean, how do you bring people there from other cities go, oh, hey, look at what we're doing here. We're doing nothing. What's left in downtown? Original Joe's and Hammer and Lewis. That's it. Can't even support a liquor store down there. And I mean, you're worried about carbon footprints and all this shit. Well, what do you think about more people packing in San Jose? It's already crowded enough. I think more people should move out of this town, if you ask me, because it's not worth it. You're not going to be able to support it. You want to put everything on an electrical grid, no natural gas. You people are crazy. You guys keep doubling down on the wrong decisions, following the tie-dye piper up there in Sacramento. Joe has news. You guys are crazy. You've lost your minds. I'm telling you. You don't want to listen to the public. All you're listening to is your real estate developer people. You included, Pam. You're a real estate person. Why are you so gung-ho for all these things? There must be something in it for you. But like I said, that last call, you better erase my number or every city council member is going to get thousands of calls. Start working on that shit right now.
Okay, going back to our council, we have Councilmember Esparza with her hand up.
Thank you. I had a question about the Evergreen, East Capitol, Foxdale urban villages. Can you talk a little bit more about that one? And then secondly, how does that relate to the Evergreen East Hills development plan?
All right, good. Sure, happy to answer that. So with the East Capitol Foxdale Urban Village, the staff and the task force were recommending eliminating that urban village simply because it was a very small urban village, and it was almost 95% of the footprint of the urban village was made up of deed restricted affordable housing for families. So as we were kind of, as staff were looking at where it might make sense to make urban village boundary adjustments, we identified that village where it probably in the future, it was small and probably didn't make sense to redevelop going forward. And the task force agreed with that recommendation. In terms of its relation to the Evergreen East Hills development policy, in the contents of the general plan, there are two separate items. And I
know.
Yeah.
I'm aware that they're separate items. I'm asking if the decision to remove the urban villages will impact the status of the Evergreen East Hills development plan in any way.
Right. No, it wouldn't have any impact.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then on the Story Road employment growth area to an urban village, I think that was already in a faraway phase. I don't remember the phase off the top of my head, but it's, I thought that was already one.
Right. So the Story Road, it was an employment area. So currently in the general plan, there's a Story Road employment area. So it doesn't have any planned housing growth, only employment growth.
Right.
So the recommendation was to add planned housing growth to that employment area, effectively converting it to an urban village to be planned for later for mixed use development.
And so my question is, where would that put it in line in the phases, right?
Right. Well, actually, one of the recommendations of the task force was also to eliminate our planning horizons. So it basically we will no longer have, planning horizons. Okay. But if the council were to decide to keep horizons, then we would have to, make a recommendation on that, most likely Horizon 2.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you for that. We're on to Councilmember Perales.
Thanks, Chair. And just as a note, it's certainly your prerogative, but anytime somebody curses you out, feel free to deny them any other speaking privileges for the day. I would have happily have done that myself. I think you certainly don't warrant yourself some more speaking time if you can decide to curse out one of the council members of the chair of the meeting, especially for an accident, obviously, as you pointed out, and one that we can remedy. But I did want to speak to the presentation. I think that, it is unfortunate and alarming, the most biggest part in regards to just being able to really capture what sort of amenities we want for the community. And I think, to sort of align our strategies with state law is just a requirement. I don't know if that's a benefit. That's something we have to do, right? What we're doing here. And I just wanted to see what was staff's thought then on proceeding, and how best are we going to truly try to achieve what we want out of these projects, versus just the project itself maybe being a good project, or having the density we want, matching our general plan, that kind of thing. What are the thoughts? I mean, I think we were kicking those around for a while on how else we might proceed. It sounds like we're not doing that now. So we're just curious what staff thoughts are.
Right. Yeah. I think there's still a lot of opportunity, particularly as development is proceeding with the citywide design standards and guidelines. So just ensuring that the quality of design and from everything from design to open space of those projects are modernized and result in good projects. And we're trying to do the same with the development standards through the zoning districts, and to ensure we can get a positive outcomes on our projects. I think we can continue to require things that are currently in our control, like frontage improvements, and we'll continue to do that. And any the parks fees, IHO fees. So everything that we have in place now to extract benefits or improvements, we'll continue to implement that. But certainly the finding a way to leverage the amenities frameworks into these new zoning districts just proved extremely difficult, given the current state or current framework of state laws that are in place right now. We did look at when we went through the urban village amenities framework process, and we did look at some other mechanisms, but a lot of those were really challenging too, in terms of impact fees. I mean, that's always still out there, but those do require a nexus study and an identification of actual improvements ahead of time. So there's certainly challenges to some of those other strategies like CFDs and other things that we've looked at. But again, we're hopeful with some of the design guidelines, design standards and guidelines moving forward. There's some opportunity there, at least for project design.
What is the timeline for that, for the design standards to move forward?
I believe those should be coming to City Council either late this year or early 2021.
Yeah, I believe it's December of this year, is my understanding.
Okay. Thank you. And that's all my questions. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Councilmember Perales. Next up is Councilmember Diep.
Yes, thanks, Chair. Could you, Jared, did I hear right that the North First Street Urban Village is the one that's in the same horizon as the Berryessa Urban Village?
Correct. Berryessa BART Urban Village is in Horizon 1, and North First Street is currently in Horizon 2.
And could you remind me where North First Street runs from District 3 to 4? What part of North First Street are we talking about?
Sure thing. So it runs the northern boundary is 880, and it runs down to about Julian Street along North First, along from kind of going from north. I'm sorry, from the southern end of the
Councilmember
urban
Perales
villages.
area, right? I'm just trying to.
I'm sorry.
It's more or less Councilmember Perales's.
Correct. I believe I think all of the villages in Council District 3.
Okay, I'm just okay because I just wanted to make sure I wasn't dropping the ball on something. It's that I knew what was going on in my backyard. All right.
Right.
As a North First Street Village, it's a District 3 North First Street, just north of downtown Village.
Got it. Okay.
Right.
Because I also know we're hoping to make North First Street all the way up into my neck of the woods a premier street. So okay. I guess I'll just use the opportunity to thank you guys for the update and this thread about aligning our zoning and the general plan has been something that I've kind of tugged on and tried to learn and talked to Rosalind about it, talked to Michael a lot about it. And I think it just needs to be done. I think earlier in my first or second year, I even allotted some of my budget to try to get an extra full-time employee in the planning department to work specifically on this. And I'm happy that, there was an order that came down from the state because I really do think it needs to be done. And we're asking a lot of our business community in terms of, I forget the measure. I think it was Measure E with the tax on the sale of commercial properties over 2 million, the commercial linkage fee. We might have statewide split roll, Prop 13 if Prop 15 passes, and so there's a lot of stuff happening there, which it's happening around us. But at the end of the day, the cost of entry to doing business in San Jose is quite high, more than it should be, because we have the general plan, which is the ideal version of our city, and then the zoning says other things. And instead of taking it upon ourselves to do it, we ask the developers or the people who want to build something to come in and pay for staff time to do the work of rezoning it and to be conforming. And I know that we're revenue recovery in San Jose, and we're a long ways off from getting to a place where these services can be funded out of the general fund. I hope we get there. But these are the sort of things when we talk about the cost of business and making things more efficient. This is certainly one of the concrete ways that we can tackle that to make San Jose an easier place to do business. And I don't think that's a business labor thing. That's just the reality. When we as a city have a problem, we're asking somebody to come in and fix it for us. That's not the ideal situation. So I'm very pleased to see that moving forward, and I look forward to supporting that all the way. I'll yield, Chair.
Hey, Councilmember Diep, thank you. Next up is Councilmember Foley.
And I'm sorry to clarify, North First Street, I think I had mentioned it was in Horizon 2. I just want to clarify it is Horizon 1. We did move that to Horizon 1, I think maybe a year or so ago. Sorry for that error there.
Councilmember Foley, go ahead.
My turn. Okay. Jared, how many urban villages are there? I missed that if you said it.
I think we're
Not
having a
completed,
lot
but
of
how many
trouble
total
hearing you.
designated?
I think
Jared?
I think
Hello?
I think I
You're having trouble
I got
hearing
your
me?
Yeah, I think I got your question. It was how many urban villages are there? You were breaking up a bit. There is approximately 60.
60.
Yeah, 61
And
to be exact.
we've only completed, okay, but we've only approved 12,
Right,
right? Am I still breaking up? Darn. There's 12. All right, well, I may just have to submit my questions later. My question for you is, how long does it take to create an urban village plan?
Yeah, the timeline has varied. I would say, you know, kind of depending on, it can depend on the, you know, the level of interest from the community, but typically, you know, I'd say probably about a couple years or so is probably our typical timeline. You know, it involves getting, you know, when we start our urban village plan, we have to bring consultants on board, and then we'll begin kind of the public process and drafting of those plans.
Are you there still, Councilmember Foley? Well, I don't want to cut off a council member, but maybe maybe we can ask. Maybe you can ask the questions privately. And I'm sorry for all the technical problems you're having, Councilmember Foley. I know that you texted me earlier today that you were having internet issues in your area. Can I get a motion to approve the staff report by any council member that's listening?
Move to approve.
Anybody gonna
I'll second.
Second.
I will-
Yeah, I'm having technical
Second.
issues as well. I'll second.
Okay, all right. I do have some questions. You know, a while back, I think. There's been several times where we asked, why can't we just write a memo and align zoning? I mean, the zoning not matching is our issue. It's not developers' issues. It's our mess that we created. And I think the mayor at one point asked us, why can't I just write a memo? Why can't we write a memo and say, hey, all zoning is now aligned? And can you remind us of why that can't happen?
Yeah, the number of properties that we have is extensive that we need to rezone to align the zoning and general plan. And we do have to do outreach when we rezone property owners' properties. And so we have, you know, so to be able to, and then when you factor in, particularly as I was mentioning, Senate Bill 330, where we can't downzone any properties without upzoning them at the same time. It creates a lot of challenge, particularly around when we're rezoning residential properties, because we have many properties where we have zoning districts that where maybe their general plan land use designation is for, let's say, industrial or commercial, something that doesn't allow residential, and we have, but they're zoned. They have a kind of a legacy residential zoning district from could be back in the 50s. To go and align that, we have to find upzonings somewhere else in the city to line those up. So again, and then with just the sheer volume of properties we have to sort through, it makes it challenging to bring it all in one hearing. We need to kind of break it up so we can practically go do the outreach that we need to do to those property owners, and then bring forward rezonings and batches.
Is there like a class that we could go low-hanging fruit? Like there should be some that are no-brainers, and we do them all in one fell swoop?
Yeah, I mean, this is Michael. We can definitely do that. I think we're going to be clustering them in big groups where it makes sense. So it's not like we're doing one house followed by another house. We'll be taking up big areas of city where it makes sense to do a giant mass rezoning. So we're definitely looking at ways to streamline that process.
Yeah,
I just want to.
Could I just add, yeah, I think, you know, we've discussed this, that the staff team understands the importance of doing this as efficiently and as quickly as possible, right? This is a huge change for our city, and we're very supportive. We think it's the right thing, but when the legislation passed, it sort of instantly went into effect and did not take into account that, a big charter city like San Jose, like, now needs to do this work. And you wish you could just snap your fingers and it'd be done, but because it has implications for property owners and it does require the outreach, we'll be working on this, correct me, at least through the end of 2021. And again, in batches and as quickly as possible. Is that correct, Michael, in terms of the timeline?
Yeah, that's generally correct. I mean, I anticipate we may even need some more time in 2021, but I think the bulk of it we anticipate will be done by the end of 2021.
Well, that's the first deadline I've heard. Thank you. That's wonderful. Thanks.
I just wanted to follow up on a question of Foley's about the timeline for general plans. And while it's true they've been taking us 2 years, a lot of the more complicated general plans, they take longer to do, and most of them, for the most part, were either close to being done or have finished them. So moving forward, our goal is to get them done in 12 months from the point in which the process actually starts, when we have a consultant on board. So we're looking at various ways to streamline that. We've done a lot of these plans, a lot of them of sort of the contents of the plans are very similar. So we're creating a template of kind of standard things that need to go in a village plan. And the timeline to create a plan then really becomes more about the community outreach and engagement. But looking at a lot of the villages that are left tend to be smaller villages, and we anticipate and we're planning to knock them out in about a 12-month time frame going forward.
Okay, wonderful. My next question is a little bit, a lot of these urban village plans have a certain amount of retail and commercial involved in them. Are you saying that with the new legislation that all of that is out the door and all of these could just all be housing and that's the end of that? Is that reading between the lines? Is that what I'm understanding?
Jared, do you want to take this?
Sure, I can take a crack at it. Yeah, so in our urban villages where we have objective standards for requiring commercial, then the project would still be required to provide that mixed use component of their projects. As we move forward with creating the zoning districts, if there's for zoning districts that would require commercial, we would make that an objective standard in the zoning ordinance.
So that we wouldn't lose, say, commercial or retail or, even industrial with this, this effort.
Correct. Yeah, and particularly for properties that are commercial that have a general plan designation of commercial or industrial. We want to, as part of this work, we want to make sure the zoning is matching up with those commercial or industrial designations. So projects would be consistent with our general plan.
Okay. All right. Because I think that ever since I've been off, as Kim and Nancy have been hammering me not to let go of commercial industrial properties and turn them into residential, because we don't have very much and we need all the employment lands that we can get. And I want to make sure that everything that we're doing doesn't eliminate the possibility of getting employers in. I guess that's not a question, but okay, Michael.
Yeah, I just wanted to council make them aware. There was a Senate Bill 1385. It didn't move forward, but it may come back next year. Again, the state is really, really trying to get cities to approve housing, do whatever they can to sort of loosen the rules so housing, at least the governmental constraints to housing, or at least the perception of those constraints, will be removed. And there was a bill to effectively eliminate commercial zoning to allow housing in commercial zoning districts throughout the state. So that didn't move forward, but that's the kind of thing that we're watching and could come back very well. So I think the state laws, the legislature continues to evolve on this issue. So we as staff really, really tracking. I just wanted to note that Jared brought up SB 940, which is a bill we sponsored, and we got a message that the governor did sign our SB 940. So that's something we can celebrate. I thought we should note that.
Oh, great. Congratulations. And I think, I think at a minimum, if you're following that legislation, Michael, maybe we can try to insert a caveat in there for cities with a jobs to housing ratio of 1 or better. Maybe that'll work. But for cities that like ours that have a 0.78 or point whatever it is these days, maybe we can be excluded from that commercial being turned into residential. Anyway, that's the direction I would suggest staff move to. I have one last question. I get a lot of emails and concerned citizens about their single family residential areas being turned into fourplex residential areas. Is any of the things that we're doing today making it easier for these single family residential areas to turn into fourplexes by right?
Well, we do.
Jared, I wasn't.
We yeah. So we have. There is the opportunity housing scope of work item for the 4-year review that the task force was considering over the last couple months. They discussed this for a couple meetings where staff recommended basically exploring allowing up to fourplexes roughly within about a half mile walk shed from our transit-oriented urban villages. So that will be coming to council in spring 2021. The task force took a little more broader perspective, and they recommended that the city council consider exploring this at a citywide level. Again, that'll be coming to the council in spring to consider moving, if the council wants to consider moving forward with this concept and moving forward with a work plan that would look further into this and actually implementing it. At the state level too, I would say that there's, the state legislature has also been pretty busy looking at this concept as well. SB 50, which was in the news, that did not move ahead. That died in the legislature this year. But there was another bill that would have allowed duplexes statewide on any lot zoned for single family, and I think that actually was approved, but it kind of hit the shot clock, ran out. Yeah.
Yeah, it got approved by the Senate and the Assembly, but it was like 5 minutes to midnight, so there wasn't time to go back to the Senate and then send it to the governor.
Well, the interesting thing is that with ADUs, you can already effectively have a duplex on any single family home in any way. But I think that if we move forward with a by right and anywhere in the city, the pitchforks will come out for future reference. I could tell you that people in my district are vehemently opposed to fourplexes in their rural settings. But my question was, nothing we're improving today is going to make that recommendation, and I'm assuming the answer is no.
That's correct.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, with all my questions answered, I want to thank staff and for all their work on this topic, and we'll go to Tony for a roll call vote.
Esparza?
Yes.
Perales?
Aye.
Yep.
Aye.
I'm going to call Foley, but she did text me to say yes.
Aye, just
Thank
in
you.
case you can hear me.
Yes, we can. And Camus?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Believe it or not, we are at open forum, and I think we have Blair Beekman on the line. Go ahead, Blair.
Hi, thank you. To try to offer a few words that Councilperson Perales offered on the previous item, I'm hoping this can be a place, a public meeting place, can be a place of civil discourse, and I'm a bit worried about the use of profanities during this time, and that it is a place to learn and to practice the ideas of civil discourse in our disagreements. So I hope we all try to do that and work on that as best we can. And with that said, I also wanted to note for my own self that my own self-preservation, I suppose, that is my personal feeling that the second item today was about vocal reports on economic development. I felt that allowed a certain latitude that I could speak about. It was mentioned the ideas about business issues going on in the downtown area, and I felt it was within my space that I could speak about during such an item my feelings about how local businesses can be better saved if if assembly bills like AB 3088, or if it's a Senate bill, if that just offered a bit more comfort to commercial business owners. I think that's in the realm of what the conversation and dialogue was about. And I just want to be respected and it be noted that's what I was working towards. And I hope to conclude, it's part of what I've been trying to talk about all month, and that the VTA was going through their own problems at this time. I hope in Santa Clara County, we really can develop ways to talk about what's happening at the state level at this time. They're building incredible systems of good for ourselves, how we can work in the next few years. And in Santa Clara County, we don't quite know how to grapple with that and relate that to everyday community yet. And I really hope we learn those skills. It's really good work at the state level happening right now. I hope we can learn to share that with the local community. Thank you.
Okay, Blair, and so we have 408-373 up next.
Once again, I really think development should stop in the city. There's so much empty buildings everywhere. Wanting to create fourplexes in residential areas is completely out of line. There's not enough space as there is, and you want to cram in these fourplexes. It's disgusting. Anybody who's for that, I hope to sort it out. Pam, if you listen, I think that you're against the fourplexes and represent my district. I hope you continue that, because the urban villages are bad enough. They're terrible. They look terrible in the design, let alone once they get built. It's so horrible. The parking spaces are terrible. The fake grass in the tiny little parks that are created. The mixed use, the whole thing is disgusting. Who wants to live in these places? You wonder why the number one sign in San Jose is for rent, for lease, for sale. Why? Because it's terrible. You guys really need to get your act together and find a different way to manage the city. You don't have enough public infrastructure to handle what you have now, and you people want more. Where's the money going to come from to hire all these police department and fire department people for the $250,000 plus salaries that are being paid? How are you going to be able to handle the electrical grid? It went out the other day. That was the funniest thing ever. You guys couldn't even run a city council meeting because of power outages. You have to get back to the basics and get back to the infrastructure of the streets. Is there enough water? Let alone electricity. You guys need to get rid of the gas because you feel that it's terrible to have. I hope all of you have gas water. I hope all of you have gas stoves that will probably never work in a few years because you're wanting to get rid of natural gas. The city council needs to have everyone.
Okay, thank you all for attending, and this meeting is adjourned.